Well, Razorback fans, do you actually think that Arkansas will ever play in the college football playoff? I actually think they will. And I'm going to tell you why on today's Locked On Razorbacks podcast.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I am your host, John Nabors, the host of the #1 Razorback podcast in all the world. And thank you as always for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend as we're going to dive into a few things. Something that really bothers me about going to Razorback sporting events, as well as getting to the Razorback baseball team, that they clinch a regional after their series victory against Oklahoma. We'll dive into that. But I did want to talk about a little bit on the Razorback football side of things, because I'm sure a lot of you are just like, Razorback football, it's not even on your radar right now. Well, I understand that for some of you, but this is something that I've been wanting to bring up for a while, and I think that this is a perfect opportunity to do so, because I alluded a little bit back to it last week when I was discussing about the potential of the college football playoff expansion and how there is not anything like imminent. It's not like it's for sure happening, but there is an idea behind the possibility of going to a 24-team playoff model, and how that's going to really impact a lot of different teams, a lot of different programs, in a lot of different ways. Sometimes it may be good. Sometimes it may not be so good. But I still look at it in the same vein of, well, we'll still love college football no matter what. But what does that do for Arkansas? Because that's the thing. Is I love college football. I watch college football, watch other college football games. But it's always about the Razorbacks, because this is Locked On Razorbacks after all. And with these potential changes that are always coming to the college football playoff, as well as the possibility of no longer having conference championship games, as well as the constant changing in NIL and rev share and all of those things, I can't help but wonder exactly about Arkansas and where they fit into this whole mix. Well, it's really hard to sit out here and say with a straight face that Arkansas is going to be a team that's going to win national championships. Let's be honest. I mean, they went 2-10 last year. They have a new coach in Ryan Silverfield, which has some promise, but still ways away from ever competing. I mean, they're talking about financially. They're still not to the point to where they can compete in the SEC, so much less a national championship. So it may be a little bit. But here's the thing. A college football playoff, where it stands right now, being at 12 teams, because that's what it's at right now. And so that's the way we need to look at it right now. Arkansas is not really set up for that right now. I think a lot of changes could be had to where Arkansas could be in the mix for that at some point, because we have seen already some teams that may be, or programs that are on the Arkansas level that have been there, that have been to that point, and that are waiting on it and trying to continue to build upon what they've built, and whether it's the Ole Misses or the Indianas and everything. Which, again, not saying that, oh, well, they did it, it's easy. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of effort, but it's not out of the realm of a possibility. It's not just something, again, that's just so far away that it feels untouchable. You feel like even talking about it is ludicrous. Like, if I was to tell you that in the next 5 years, the Arkansas Razorback football program would be in contention for a playoff spot. Not saying they would be for sure in, but in contention for a playoff spot, with it remaining at 12 teams, would you be shocked? You probably would sarcastically say yes. You would be. Oh, come on. We haven't done this. We haven't done that. But I mean, is it just that far away to where you can be a team that wins 9 games? Is it that far away? I mean, for crying out loud, you were close enough to winning 7-8 games last year. It's not that far away. Things just have to go your way a little bit. The ball has to bounce your way a little bit. And for a place like Arkansas, and for a team like Arkansas, now going to 9 SEC games, a lot of you are probably saying, well, John, that's with that element to it, there's really nothing we can do. There's really no way we have a chance at doing something like this. That's just too much to ask. Sometimes in a given year, things really come together all at once. Razorback sports, you probably feel like that's never happened because you really haven't had a whole lot of national championships to show for it. But if you just think about things in particular, coming together, even though they shouldn't, even though it doesn't make sense, even though no one really expected it, sometimes it just works out that way. I think Razorback baseball has been a great example of that. I mean, you've had years where you weren't really that great. You didn't even host a regional or super regional, but you put it together. You made it work. You had things come together and maybe a little luck on your side, and you got to Omaha. There's been times even in basketball, maybe it didn't make sense of things bouncing your way, but I think this past year's SEC tournament is a great example of that. You won the SEC tournament. Now, did you not deserve to win it? No, of course you deserved it. It's 100% true. You deserved it. But let's also be very honest. You had some more favorable matchups than what maybe originally thought that helped out a lot. Again, not saying that you didn't deserve it, not trying to lessen it. That's part of it. That'd be for any team. There's been a lot of teams that have had it that way. Things just kind of come together at once for a particular tournament or a postseason or a regular season or all the above. And Arkansas is not above that. But if I was to tell you that Razorback football, under Ryan Silverfield, mind you, in roughly within the next 5 years is going to be in contention for a playoff spot. You may disagree, but my rebuttal to that disagreement would be like, well, let me explain to you why I think that's possible and what that would look like. What it would look like for Arkansas to be that team that actually makes it into a college football playoff, that is actually being a team that's in contention for something special. Well, what it would look like is a complete and total culture overhaul change, which in some regards, I think that the University of Arkansas's football team has done that. I think that there has been a culture change and shift into the right direction. I think hard work is starting to really be emphasized. I think energy is starting to be emphasized. I think an understanding of the little details and the little things is starting to be emphasized. And I think that's a great start because as I did on a podcast earlier, I guess it was not earlier this year, but about, I don't know exact date, but during the football season, I was talking about the winning culture and how it's been missing because you've been missing out on the little details, on the little things. That's the difference between being a winner and a loser. And as a program is just the little things, the little details. I think Arkansas has done a really good job under Silverfield so far to addressing those things. Okay, so if you get that, say if you got the fundamentals done, you're not a team that gets penalized a whole lot. You're not a team that turns the ball over a whole lot. You're not a team that makes a lot of mistakes. What then? What else do you need? Well, you need talent, right? Sure. How much talent? As much as you could get. I mean, how much is there ever too much talent? I don't think so. But in a lot of cases, though, folks, sometimes, yes, it's about overall talent. Sometimes we all want to have the best 22 starters out there and everything. But sometimes it's about that one player, that one generational type of player. Now, I don't know and guaranteeing there's going to be one that happens that way, but we've seen it at Arkansas. We've seen a Darren McFadden. We've seen a Matt Jones. We've seen a Traylon Burks. We've seen an Alex Collins. It's like we've seen, on occasion, generational type players do incredible things. Now, it's rare, but even if you don't have the most and gifted roster, if you just have that one player that is so great that they can really truly overcome and be able to, make some of the weaknesses kind of offset itself a little bit and overcome some of those weaknesses, that's what makes up for it a lot. I'm using this as a broad example. I'm not saying Arkansas is going to have this, but I always look at it like the Cam Newton situation with Auburn. That Auburn team was a 7-5, 8-4 team, but with Cam Newton, they went undefeated, won the national championship. I'm not expecting Arkansas to get a Cam Newton. I'm using that as an example of that. If you have a solid team, above average team across the board, but you have one generational type of talent, it can take you a long way. Like Traylon Burks in that 2021 football season where Arkansas went 9-4. Like there were some good players in that, obviously. Like Rocket Sanders as a true freshman was really good. There were some defensive players that were really good. Like it was a good team. But when you have somebody like Traylon Burks, no matter what, when they walk out onto the field, they are the best player out there. It changes everything. Like if you played one-on-one against him, you were getting killed. Where in any other situation or any other wide receiver, You play one-on-one, you're going to stop him. But you couldn't do it. There's nothing you could do against him. So it's about, again, things coming together at the right time with the talent. Not saying you're going to have the Georgia level talent, but can you have really, really great Arkansas talent and that one generational type player to be mixed into it? Absolutely. Ryan Mallett, by the way, rest in peace. Another one of those generational type talents come through here at Arkansas. So you got to have that. So you got to have, of course, the culture. You got to have the talent. And you have to have the coaching to go along with it as well. You have to have great coaching, buy and in coaching. You have to have all the stuff, like the guy that's getting the not just the rah-rah guy, but the guy that knows his X's and O's, that can hire great assistant coaches, that can recruit really well, that can go through the portal season and understand how to work that the best way, understand how to work out freshmen and building a program and building a standard there and being able to develop that. Like you need things, and we're talking about nutrition staff, we're talking about strength and conditioning, like just being able to hire incredible people to surround you and be really good at it. You have to do that. Again, I don't know what Silverfield's going to do. I've been impressed by the coaching staff he's put together so far, but it's like we have to see more of it. But there is a potential, there is at least a chance that, hey, you know what? Maybe Ryan Silverfield's really good at this. Maybe this is something he does a really good job at, and putting together a great staff at the right moment. And well, last but not least, maybe even most importantly, you need support. You need support. Now, you Hog fans, I'm not talking about support of just being a Hog fan and, you know, cheering and calling the Hogs. I'm talking about, of course, the financial support. You know, yes, last week I talked about with Ryan Silverfield mentioning how he felt like they're still getting closer to where they need to be financially to compete in the SEC, and how I wasn't a big fan of that comment, which is not anything against him. I think he's being honest. It's more of a, I don't like the situation. I don't want to be in a situation to where here you go, you went through all these things, you fired coaches, you laid off half the athletic department, you've cut 2 sports, like you've done all of this crazy stuff, and you're still not even where you need to be financially to be competitive in the SEC. It's not something I'd like to see. So because of that fact, that's what really has to have an overhaul of change. And a lot of that has to be a belief, a faith, a hope, wanting to be a part of something great. I think that some people will give support no matter what, but people like to support winning. People like to support energy. They like to support things that they feel a part of. Like it's all goes hand in hand with the culture, and the winning also cures it all. But it has to be consistent. It has to be made to where people buy into it, not just figuratively, but financially buy into it. And knowing that, hey, if I give this money, it's going to go to a great cause. Like those are the things you got to push, you got to force, you got to understand, you got to make work. You do all those things, Arkansas can be in contention for a playoff. And I think it can happen. I'm trying to be hopeful, I'm trying to believe, I'm trying to make it make sense. It may not to you now, but it does to me. So we'll see. Time will tell. I'm ready for football season as it is. But baseball season's going on still, and the Razorbacks got us the question if they clinched a regional to host. We'll talk about it. Stay with us here on Locked On Razorbacks podcast. All right, Razorback fans, the NBA playoffs are here, and every possession matters. If you're looking to get closer on the action, FanDuel has the offer to get you started. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets for just getting started. You can check stats, trends, and matchups before making your picks, which makes the whole experience a lot more informed. Whether you're looking at player props or just following your favorite stars, it adds to another level of excitement for every game. It's really easy as far as an app goes to navigate through, and it makes playoff basketball even more engaging from start to finish. Use the website to look up, of course, all of their great things and all their great specials that they have at FanDuel.com if you choose to do so. It's FanDuel, and head over to FanDuel.com to get started. It's FanDuel. Play your game. All right, so moving on into the next segment of the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Before I do, I want to remind everybody, get Locked On Razorbacks ad-free with the Everydayer Club, plus members-only Discord access. You can join now today at lockedonrazorbacks.supercast.com. Razorback baseball, 2 out of 3. They take against Oklahoma. Over the weekend, they won games 1 and 2 and lost game 3. So where the Razorbacks stand right now, they are 15-12 in SEC play, 34-18 overall. They're 6 games back. Georgia already won the outright SEC regular season as they go 21-6. You were one of those losses at least. But here you are sitting at 15-12. Technically, I guess, you're tied for 4th in the conference. Florida and Mississippi State are both tied with you at 15-12. Obviously, Florida owns the tiebreaker over you because they swept you, but you own the tiebreaker over Mississippi State because you did beat them. And Kentucky, who you're facing, is 12-15 this weekend. So just don't get swept, because if you do, you tie them. Don't do that. But either way, you won this series. You're guaranteed to not have a losing record in the SEC, which is something I like. You're guaranteed to not have the losing record. At least keep that streak alive. You'd have to sweep Kentucky in order to get to that 18-win mark again for, 18 wins every year since 2017. So you're still that alive. But either way, the big question becomes, did you clinch the regional? Did you clinch a hosting of a regional, I should say? And the answer to that question is, in my opinion, no, but you're just right there at the goal line. I think that if you just win one game against Kentucky, you're hosting. I'm not an expert. I'm not somebody who's going to sit here and be like, I know about the committee and I know about the moves that they make. I don't know any about that stuff. I don't know. But I'm looking at it in the perspective of, you went 16-14. If that was to happen, you go 16-14. People like D1 Baseball, who I think does a great job of it. You were ranked 17th last week. You beat Oklahoma, who's a top 25 team. So you're going to move up inevitably into that top 16 range. And I think that you're, as crazy as it may sound, you're going to get a little bit of the benefit there of, hey, well, if you're close, if you're on the cusp, it's a 50-50, we're going to get you to be a host because you're Baum Walker, you're Fayetteville, you're Dave Van Horn. You're going to get all that. So as crazy as it is, I think you get that benefit of the doubt. But let's not even worry about that. Let's just win the series. How about against Kentucky? Because if you win 2 out of 3, you're for sure hosting. And if you sweep, there's no doubt, like, you're hosting. So your RPI is good. You'll be in good shape. If you swept, it'd be awesome, because that'd put you at 18-12 to finish the year. In SEC play, 37-18 overall. You would have a lot of great things going for you. And I'm not saying Kentucky's a bad team. They're 12-15, but they're a team that you can sweep. Not saying you will, but you can. I mean, you swept Alabama on the road this year. Alabama's 16-11. They got a better record than you. So it is possible. But the thing is like, even if you have all of that, hosting, not hosting, whatever, a lot of you are probably like, I don't care if they host or not. I don't know about this team. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're good or not. I don't know if they're World Series caliber or not. Most of you are probably going to say no, they're not, because of the pitching issues that they have, especially on day 3. It's such a weird year. This year, I feel like it's cliche to say it all the time, but like, this year is truly one of the weirdest years for Razorback baseball. Because after a game on a Friday, I'm feeling good. And after a game on Saturday, I'm either feeling really good, like I am this past Saturday, which was an awesome game. You were down by 3 runs in the 8th inning, and you score 7, and you come back and win to win the series. Awesome feeling. Or I feel a little bit concerned because I'm like, okay, now we got to take care of business. But then against Ole Miss, like in game 3, you win on a walk-off, and everything's going nuts. We're going crazy, and it's awesome. It's an awesome situation there. But then, or you have a game like you did yesterday against Oklahoma that was just frustrating, and you didn't have the pitching, and they just kept scoring on you. And it's like, we don't know what to think. But what we all know is that game 1 you feel great about because Hunter Dietz is awesome. And past 2 game 1s of the series, you've run ruled the other team. I'm not saying that should be counted on, but I'm just saying you've been great in that. But then day 2 is a toss-up, and game 3 just looks like a disaster. So, like, what are we doing here? What is this team? Because we're going into the final series of the weekend of the SEC season, and I have no idea what to expect. Like, if I told you that this team made it to Omaha, some of you may be surprised. I wouldn't. I would be like, okay, it's great. They must have figured some things out. It's a lot about matchups. It's about timing. It's about finding your way. But if you told me they lost in the regional, I wouldn't be surprised either. And to me, that's kind of the formula that they're going to have. They have to win the first and second game of any regional if they have a chance. And that's scary. That's playing and fishing with dynamite. Like, you don't know what to expect every single time in and time out anyways. But what we do know is that if you get to game 3 of a regional and you already got one loss in double elimination, man, you have to have Hunter Deeds be on short rest. I mean, that's how unfortunate it is right now. But if you win game 1 and you win game 2, you feel pretty good about taking care of business and winning the next couple, or at least one of the next couple, I should say. So it's a very complicated thing. Team sometimes looks great. Team sometimes looks poor. I feel like the hitting's gotten better for what it's worth. Scoring's gotten better for what it's worth. But it just seems like they can't figure it out at the same time. And the Carson Wiggins thing is another thing that I don't know. It's really frustrating. I get everybody's frustrated, but still, I think this Razorback baseball team's in great position. But there's one thing that bothers me that really shouldn't bother me whenever I go to a Razorback sporting event, especially baseball. And I'm going to tell you what that is, and I'm going to explain it. So stay with us here on Locked On Razorbacks podcast. All right, Razorback fans, if you've ever opened your bank account and thought, where'd all my money go? Well, you're not alone. Keeping track of subscriptions, spending, and bills can get overwhelmingly fast. That's where Rocket Money comes in, helping you take control of the finances all in one place. Well, it works simply like this. It tracks all of your subscriptions in one spot and help you cancel the ones you don't need with just a few taps. It automatically categorizes your spending so you can actually see where your money is going. And you can set budgets, get alerts, and stay on top of upcoming bills. It just makes everything feel a lot more organized and gives you a clear picture of your finances from day to day. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join rocketmoney.com/lockedon. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Okay, so final segment here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Now, this is something that bothers me, and it probably shouldn't, but I've gone to a lot of Razorback baseball games, and the sporting events, and not only just for baseball, but for basketball and football kind of have this, but especially basketball and baseball. I think these are probably the worst problems of this. Man, they were on yesterday's game. There was a pretty good crowd. You know, I know that they had already won the series. It was Mother's Day. Shout out to all the moms out there. But there were just a lot of fans in really prime seats at Baum-Walker Stadium that were Oklahoma fans. And that bothers me. It shouldn't, but it does. I don't have any problem. There was one fan that was really obnoxious and awful and needed to be punched. That was being purposely obnoxious. That's another thing too. If you're an opposing fan and you go to a place, no, nothing wrong with cheering for your team. But if you're trying to make it about you and be the center of attention, you're a douche. But either way, there was just a lot of Oklahoma fans sitting in those prime seats. Now, did they buy them? I don't know. Did they just sit in them because no one was using them? I don't know. But either way, it doesn't make it. Both are bad. Both are bad. I don't want them to be there no matter what. And it's not something that I can do personally. And there may not be an answer to it because I know that's just the way things are. But I just really, really, really wish there was just a way where the people that have tickets to games that are in those prime seats, if they can't go, to give them to Razorback fans or sell them just to Razorback fans, whatever it takes. But it just bothers me when, you got Razorback players, baseball players, getting up to home plate in their home stadium, and they got a heckler right behind them that's a fan of the opposing team. To me, that's a bad look. And if I'm a player, that kind of pisses me off. You're probably like, they shouldn't care, but dude, just hit the ball. Okay. But still, it bothers me. I'm not one hitting the ball. It bothers me seeing that. I remember last year for basketball season, I was very blessed. Shout out to Rich and Vicky Robertson for the tickets, but I had great seats right there, front row for Razorback basketball again when they played Missouri last year. And sitting next to a center court were two Missouri fans. That bothers me. Right there in the middle. Bothers me. That's a bad look. Especially if you're on TV, that's a bad look. Luckily, Oklahoma and Arkansas are close enough in their color schemes. Hopefully no one really saw it. But either way, it's just one of those things that if I'm the only one in that camp, that's fine. I'll own it. But if you feel that same way, let me know. And that way I can at least understand hey, am I supposed to be this upset? Should I be feeling this way? I just need to know that. because it's something that I need to know which battles to fight. You know what I'm saying? I need to know if that's a common thing at other SEC schools, because maybe it is. Maybe it is. But just something that bothered me yesterday. Let's do a better thing. Let's do a better job, make a better effort of making sure Razorback fans are in those Razorback seats. They're in prime spots of Razorback facilities. Whatever it takes, make that happen. Appreciate each and every one of you listening in and watching into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or on Google Play. You can also get after me on Twitter, John Nabors Show, for any questions, comments, concerns you may have. Keep it going from there. Same podcast time, same podcast channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day, everybody. See you then.